Hi everyone, I'm Melanie Meehan. I wrote Every Child Can Write, and I work in Simsbury, Connecticut as the district's writing coordinator. We've been thinking about the different ways that we can kind of help caregivers understand some of the important components of writing instruction and how we can really partner with everybody. Um, or how teachers can really partner with caregivers. And what I want to just talk a little bit about is how students can use mentor text, what we mean by that, even when they're working from home. So when we think about a mentor text is generally a published text. It's not always. It can be something somebody else has written that hasn't been published. Usually when we think about mentor texts, we think about published texts, and they are texts that can inspire writers and can kind of serve as a, how can I be like that? If we're aspiring to be good at anything, a lot of the times we study the craft of somebody else, whether if we want to get good at playing tennis, we might watch people who are really good at tennis and try to figure out what they do and how they do it. If we want to get really good at, I don't know, fishing, we watch how somebody else throws the cast and we try to figure out what bait they're using and how they're doing it. So, we study the people we admire and the work we admire, and we try to make our work get to be more like it. And that's how we can think about mentor texts. So I'm going to just share my screen for a minute with you so that I can share this presentation and let you just sort of see what I'm talking about with books as we're thinking about mentor text, right? So as we're thinking about that, Katie Wood Ray is somebody who was kind of a pioneer in terms of mentor text. She has written several books. She does workshops all over the country. She's a phenomenal mentor and model for a lot of us who are writing instructors. And she has said, you read like a writer. Like sometimes we don't read books for enjoyment. Sometimes we read books to learn from them. And when we do that, she is the one who says there's kind of 5 steps that we want to think about. And when she names those steps, right, we want to like see something and notice something about it, trying to figure out why that author might have done that. And, sometimes authors don't know. Like there was one time where I took a group of kids to see an author, and one of them was like, how did you put the red all through the book? Like, what was the importance of red? And he started pointing out the red, and she was like, I did that? Didn't even realize it, which, blew his mind. He was really upset about that. But a lot of the time, writers put things in for a specific purpose. It's not like his experience with that particular author. And we want to try to figure it out, then name that move. You can think about other places and other books where you've seen that. And then if it's really going to be a mentor for you, you try out that craft move that you've named in your own writing. So if I'm thinking about how it could look in my own world, I could take a book, and this is a National Geographic book. I had it out. I don't have it out right now, but it's a National Geographic book. I frequently find really great craft moves in National Geographic books. I can look at this and I can read it and I can say, look, they slither and scuttle over sand. Like, well, this is an information book, but what poetic language they've used. So we can use poetic language in our information writing books. Like that's something that I can notice and I can name, and I can figure out why that author might have done that. Maybe Melissa wanted to engage her audience. Maybe she wanted to add an element of play and poetry to her reading. I've seen it in other texts that I admire of information books, and I'm going to try that out in my writing when I'm writing about information writing. So these are ways that we can encourage information writers or our writers at home to really think about mentor text. Like, read like a writer. Like, look at a book, and instead of just always being like, what does that mean? Like, what's the theme? What's the, I don't know, the structure? What does that do for us as readers? Maybe admire it as a writer. Like, wow, that was a really cool way that author just wrote that. Why do we think they did that? Do you think you could do that in your own writing? When we have those sorts of conversations, we have mentor text conversations, and they're super powerful for writers.